Hello guys, and welcome to the House of Crypto. In today's episode we're going to look at Ethereum surpassing Bitcoin to become the largest network for trustless money settlement, Ethereum on Google Trends at an all-time high for searches, but also the fact that Ethereum appears to be falling. So we're going to be looking at why that's happening, and we're going to look at the charts and as well as some other news that can give us an indication of what's going to happen in the coming hours and over the next few days. Guys, if you're new to the House of Crypto, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button to be kept up to date with all things Ethereum, as well as other altcoins, and occasionally dipping into Bitcoin as well. So the first piece of news I wanted to look at is over here on Yahoo Finance. And as I mentioned in the introduction, Ethereum surpasses Bitcoin to become the largest network for trustless money settlement. So what does that mean? It doesn't mean that Ethereum has outgrown Bitcoin in terms of its market value. However, the amount of trading that's happening and the amount of fees that are generated has outgrown that of Bitcoin. So when a fee, or when you make a transaction, obviously you get charged a fee for that, depending on the demand, and the amount of transaction depends on the amount of fees charged. And at the moment, the average here we're sitting at as is slightly down at the moment to $21 per fee average. Okay, so it's obviously not that depending on anything. And these are called gas fees. Now, something we should be aware of in Ethereum, this is seen as a bit of a problem. Another reason why people might not want to use Ethereum so much. However, there's an important thing happening this year where they're looking to introduce the EIP 1559. Which is an Ethereum improvement proposal that would reform Ethereum's fee market. Essentially, this would direct excess fee incomes away from the miners by burning one portion of it and returning it to the ETH holders. So if you think about Bitcoin, more Bitcoin gets produced through mining. However, there's always going to be a market cap, a cap on the production that will only ever see 21 million Bitcoin produced, which makes it a very attractive investment. However, with Ethereum, it still inflates because more gas fees and more Ethereum is produced every time there are transactions made. However, this proposal should see that stops, and it will become more like Bitcoin and gain that kind of deflationary asset status. Okay, so this is a really key thing to be aware of, and this is particularly good news and something I wanted to draw your attention to early on. Jumping over to Google Trends then. So what is Google Trends, to those of you who don't know? Google Trends is something where you can see the amount of search volume for particular keywords over a period of time in particular locations. So this is Ethereum, and we're looking at worldwide in the past 5 years. Now, something that's really interesting has happened very, very recently that I wanted to draw attention to. This is around the time here when Ethereum hit its all-time or previous all-time high. Okay, when Bitcoin came up, hit its all-time high back in 2017. Ethereum did the same. And yeah, and then we've seen this big dip throughout a big bear market, and then we started to see a bit more momentum build through last year. Projects got announced, more money started flowing. We had possibly the start of the bull cycle, to do when Bitcoin came into its halving period. Usually indicates the start of the bull cycle for the crypto market. Money first flows into Bitcoin and then starts to flow into other assets such as Ethereum and others. Okay, as you can see, guys. This is probably, so the end of January, we peaked and we hit an all-time high in terms of the amount of people searching for Ethereum. So, why are people searching for it? Well, because Ethereum has been moving, it's been making people money. People have been going down the pub, going down to talk to their friends, telling their friends at work, I've been making this money with Ethereum, and someone's, saying, oh, what is Ethereum? People go away and explore, and the more people start to get interested in it, the more you guys make money and talk about it with your friends and your family, and the more people want to learn about it, the more Ethereum effectively will be worth. Okay, so you got people coming in, but this is particularly a big spike that's come off of Ethereum surging through the end of December into January, and then we've seen the same with Bitcoin, and people are looking at Ethereum, and now we had a bit of a dip. We had that quiet period for Bitcoin, and now this is Elon Musk jumping into Bitcoin, Ethereum booming last week, going up from around $1,200 to around $1,800, taking a bit of a dip now. This is super positive news. However, why has Ethereum dropped in price? So what I wanted to jump over to next is the Ethereum chart, which I've got here. So previously we were tracking this green triangle, which is where we saw a big breakout from. Okay, we then came up, and we've been following this yellow trend line. I want to draw attention to this yellow trend line because I think this is key for us. Okay, so we touch 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and this was resistance. The more a region gets tested, the more substantial it is. Okay, it's got tested 3 times in terms of resistance. We got rejected here. We came back up, and eventually we broke through to then turn it into support once. And here it broke hard down through, but it came back up. So we're going to test that, and here we're still well above it. Now, as we can see, we're in an upward trend. We've been moving nicely. I think 2-3 days ago, Elon Musk announced that he had purchased, or through Tesla, had purchased loads of Bitcoin. So what does that mean for Ethereum? Bitcoin absolutely boomed, as you saw, but it still pulled Ethereum with it, but just not to the percentage that we saw. Money enters the market through Bitcoin. It's the oldest, it's the most known about, it's the most talked about. Everyone knows about this, guys. More money that comes into that is always a good thing for us as Ethereum holders, being the number 2. Money tends to flow into Ethereum. Okay, so when we see a pump from Bitcoin, Ethereum perhaps follows a few weeks behind. Okay, so that is a potentially really good positive piece of news for us, or definitely is a positive piece of news, not potentially. Another thing that's much more attractive, if you're looking down the barrel and you want to invest in crypto at the moment, you're looking at how much a Bitcoin costs, around $46,000, $45,000. That's extremely expensive, guys, for most people. Most people don't want to jump into something they don't know about and put $45,000 down. Whereas $1,730 is much more attractive. This becomes much more attractive, and this is probably why you're seeing so much in terms of the search results. Now, why have we seen this little backtest here? Now, actually, this is quite a positive thing, and one thing you probably aren't aware of, depending on where you live in the world, but at the moment is Chinese New Year. So tomorrow is going to be Chinese New Year, and in terms of like the level of festival, for those of you who aren't aware, is kind of like Christmas is in the US or the UK. People tend to take a week off of work, and China is one of the biggest crypto markets. A lot of the volume that you see being traded is coming out of China, as well as all the other Asian countries which see a similar holiday to China, so Vietnam, Korea, etc., and Japan. Okay, so what you're seeing with this bit of a decrease in volume is actually just to do with the holiday period, the same as you would see a decrease in volume through Christmas. So this is nothing to worry about, guys. In fact, what I want to look at is why this is actually looking extremely exciting and bullish right now. So one thing I want to look at quickly, just in terms of where we can see Ethereum going and price predictions currently. I mean, I can't see much happening in the next few days due to the holidays, due to the lack of volume coming into the markets. However, I'd like to see us stick above this line. If we stick above here, then we're going to trend again to the upside. It's interesting to see there's clearly some sort of a channel developing. However, it's quite hard to see as we look at it. If we are following this as a trend or a rising wedge, which is fairly sort of rough but could be happening, then we potentially will be looking at how it plays out. If it puts too much pressure and breaks the downside here, then we could be looking at a bearish target, which would take us, in fact, all the way pretty much down to the 200 EMA, still, which is around 1390. However, guys, the way the trend is going at the moment, I think it's really unlikely that's going to happen. Just be aware always that these things can play out and they can go against us. Okay, so be aware when we're going to go and buy things. That I see this right now as being a very good buying price. However, there's always the potential that we could have a break to the downside, which goes against us. So always never overcommit yourself. If it breaks the downside, it's going to be higher than where it is at some point in the future. But don't go and wipe yourself out because it's got down here, and don't be heartbroken when it happens. Sometimes these things happen and we can separate our emotion from them, and we're in a much better position. However, if it breaks where I believe it will to the upside, then we're looking, depending on where it breaks out, there's obviously going to be a rough estimation, then that takes us to 2,168. Okay, so I think that's going to be happening, guys, in the coming, depending on when people start returning to work in Asia, people start returning to their trading desks and things, then that's going to be playing out in the next week, possibly sooner. Always difficult to tell because we can make ideas of where we think things are going to go, and actually usually tend to be fairly accurate, but when exactly it can be quite a challenging one. Okay, so let's keep track of this, guys, and see where we end up. Okay, so jumping into the 4-hour chart, Ethereum versus Bitcoin, where currently we see Ethereum just under 4% of a Bitcoin. Now, what I want to draw your attention to is, in the past, we've been looking at this in a really bullish way, and we've been seeing Ethereum building nicely against Bitcoin as it's come out of this 3-year-long trend, and we've been in this new trend for a few weeks now. Now, we've seen this big dip here, this big dump. Now, actually, that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's just Elon Musk jumping in and buying Bitcoin, which obviously saw Bitcoin surge. But now, we saw benefit in that for Ethereum. Ethereum came back down, found its, where it should be, sort of fundamental level. This is the 200-day EMA, where it's found good support and it's starting to build. Again, we've seen low volume. We've seen not much happening in terms of trading volume. Volume happening here. But in terms of, the longer play of where this is going to go, this is really bullish, guys. This has bounced. It's definitely going to come back into above this green line. And if we can get above this green line and above this white line, so just to draw attention to what that white line really is a 3-year-old consolidation pattern, guys. Okay, and we did the target last time of where this is expected to go. And if this breaks the upside, then we're looking at something like a 20%, and Ethereum being worth 20% of a Bitcoin. Okay, which in current valuation, will give us a certain result, but I don't want to bother calculating that because, that's at the current valuation. For this to play out this is on the daily chart. For this is going to take potentially a few months for this to happen, maybe even a few years. You never know. And by then, we don't know how much Bitcoin's going to be worth. Bitcoin could be worth 500,000, and Ethereum could be worth 10% of 500,000, which is $50,000. I'm not going to say that's going to happen, but this is how the thing works, guys. So there's potential, and it's an exciting time. Okay, one thing I want to draw your attention to, just to see how these markets work. We saw here, this is the Elon Musk. This one here is when Elon Musk hashtag Bitcoin on Twitter. Okay, so from that we saw how Ethereum has dropped, but straight after that happened, we saw Ethereum come straight back up. Same things happened here. It would shock me if we didn't straight back up to the upside. And by now, I'm starting to think that we're going to be breaking out. We're due a breakout from this white triangle very soon, guys. Okay, if we get rejected again, then maybe we'll drop back further down. However, it's looking very likely that this breakout to the upside is going to happen soon. And when we see that, we're going to see Ethereum really taking off. That's where I believe we're going to be seeing $3,000, potentially $5,000 happening in the next couple of months. We've got the Ethereum EIP happening. We've got Ethereum 2.0 launch, various other things coming out of Ethereum. So a really exciting time for everyone. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode of Ethereum Update Now. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button to be kept up to date with all the Ethereum and altcoin news happening out there. If you have any other cryptocurrencies or anything you'd like me to take a look at, then please leave it down in the comments below. Let me know what your sentiment is. Let me know where you think Ethereum is going to go in the next few weeks. And that's it for now. Thanks very much, and bye-bye.